back again with another one. Guys, let me start. Some people are not noticing. I record this podcast walking outside in the streets, on tracks, in parks. I'm recording live. I walk in real time. There is nothing wrong with your audio. You may hear wind, birds, helicopters, dogs, hear me swiping at bees, mosquitoes, okay? It's as real as it can get now that I got that out the way. Welcome to Speaking Smashinese, the world's first psychology-centric podcast, that is recorded in the streets, like I just said, while walking and doing calisthenics exercises. I'm recording in real time right now, which means I'm out here walking right now. For those who are new, Smashinese is a term I came up with in college where I studied psychology and philosophy. It just means the language of making love, the language of making out, or intimacy. Okay? I invite all of you to walk, bike, march, jog, whatever it is that you do. Okay? Walk in place in your bedroom or your living room if you have to. Okay? But just do it with me as you listen. You will thank me in 3 months, 6 months, and especially a year. In today's show, I asked the question, why are so many men turning to the Manosphere? Manosphere. And if you're on social media, you know that this conversation has gotten really loud, really fast. But I think it would be prudent to first define Manosphere completely so that everyone can follow this episode without confusion. The term Manosphere refers to an online network of websites, podcasts, forums, and social media communities where men discuss issues related to masculinity, identity, dating, relationships, self-improvement, and I guess in general, their experiences in society, okay? And we can expand that thought by adding that the Manosphere isn't one single group, right? It's a broad umbrella that includes a range of perspectives, such as personal development and discipline, dating strategies, and relationship advice. There's spaces for discussions about gender roles and critiques of modern culture and the many expectations placed on men. And I know my speech is staggered, guys, but I'm on a school track. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see that. And when I'm on this flat surface, I try to push the envelope. I try to pick up my speed because I don't have the hills to challenge me. And when you're ready, after you've listened to enough episodes, I invite you to do the same. You may not like it, but I invite you to do the same. Here's an important nuance I want you to keep in mind. Some parts of the Manosphere focus on growth and accountability and purpose, while other parts may lean more toward frustration and blame. So you say, Coach Sumo. And increasingly, I'm seeing a focus on the rigid and let's say adversarial views of relationships. So what I'm saying is that the Manosphere is less about one ideology and more about a collection of spaces where men try to understand their place and their value and try to understand relationships in a changing world. I'm recording this in May of 2026. You may be listening 5 years into the future. Maybe we no longer use the term Manosphere at that time. But these micro communities, sub-communities, they will exist for as long as there's a society, and for as long as there are two genders and a thing called relationships. I hope that definition of Manosphere is helpful. Now, some people hear the word Manosphere and think truth and discipline and accountability. Others hear it and they think anger and blame, and they think division, right? And although both sides are onto something, today we're not picking a side, okay? We're not picking a side. And some of the undergrad and my graduate psychology students, they ask, why do I always take a neutral stance on the show, right? And it's because it's important, especially in the relationship space, to see things from both perspectives, from both points of view, both sides, okay? Men and women are going to internalize things differently. You want a healthy relationship? Shut up and listen, okay? To be blunt, okay? Because, like I said, no matter what it is, both sides are always on to something. All right? So we're not picking a side. No. We're not picking a side. We're asking a better question today. Why are so many men going there in the first place? Going into the manosphere in the first place? What in the world is going on, Coach Sumo? Let me ask each of you this. When someone seeks advice about their life from you, right? When someone asks you something, do you listen to what they have to say first? Or do you label where they're getting their information from already? Read into that question and you'll see why I really do prefer to take a neutral stance. Yes, I have opinions. Yes, I can agree and disagree. But we want to listen because we all get our information from somewhere, right? We all get our information from somewhere. People don't gather around ideas for no reason. If large groups of men are turning into this manosphere safe place, something, emphasis on the word something, is being provided. Or else the community would not be as massive as it is. What are they getting? What are these things? Let's name a few possibilities. Some men are finding structure. Some men are finding direction. For others, it might be clarity that they're finding. Some men are actually finding their whole identity in the manosphere. And nearly all of these men are finding a language that they can speak and understand and relate to for the experiences in their lives. And now, even though I listed identity as one of the possibilities, and it is, everything on this list has something to do with identity. And identity is how someone understands their role and value in the world. So, if a man feels unclear about his role or unsure of his value or what else? Disconnected from his purpose or any type of purpose at all. And someone says, here's what a man is supposed to do. That lands like an elephant, full-grown male elephant, on an earthworm's back, okay? And there are many women out there who are against this whole Manosphere movement. And I get many of your concerns, but I want you to ask yourself, do I understand what problem someone is trying to solve before judging the solution they chose, right? Where do these men live? What environment are they in? Okay? And everybody doesn't listen to this, okay? What is their education level? What type of family did they have? What do they read? What do they consume? What media outlets do they prefer? Do they read books? If yes, what books do they read? Right? But social media is easy. You grab your phone, you click again, you scroll, and something resonates with you. You pause, you stop, you follow, like, subscribe, or join, and you're part of something. It's that simple. All right? Do you understand what problem someone is trying to solve before judging the solution they chose? Excuse me. Because there's a reason why some men feel unheard. Let's slow this down, even though I'm trying to start walking at a much more brisk pace, and I'm dying over here because this part matters. Well, yes, it does. This part matters. Some men feel like their concerns are dismissed, or their struggles are minimized. And it cuts deep when you feel like your questions are labeled instead of explored. And this is exactly how many men feel. This is not being said to categorize men. This doesn't mean that these men are weak. It's just what it is, guys. So when these men find a space where someone is speaking directly to them, hence the designation Manosphere, right? Even if the message is imperfect, they stay and they at least listen, because this is where many of them find validation. A lot of men say they don't like how the narrative is framed on a lot of these platforms. But then they find validation. And this is something that they were looking for really badly as well. And validation just means feeling like your experience is recognized and acknowledged. And please understand, my walking buddies, my beautiful health conscious walking community, validation is extremely powerful. Maybe some of you can relate. Have you ever stayed in a space, an environment, simply because you felt understood there, right? I used to be seriously into dancing. And I didn't like regular nightclubs. People dressed up and they sat and they drank. Well, I don't drink, so there's no excitement for me to dress up and go to a club, to sit there, socialize, and drink. If that's your thing, that's perfectly fine. But I was a dancer. So, despite the negative things that I knew that could happen at raves, I was a huge rave head. Well, guess what? Good morning. I also did not do a lot of the things that the people did there. If I don't drink alcohol, then I definitely don't take drugs either. But dancers were there. I felt like I belonged. I was around people that were on the same page as I was, that didn't go to regular dress to impress nightclubs because they wanted to dance. Okay? I didn't want to wear slippery shoes. I wanted to go in and sweat until I was dehydrated and needed copious amounts of Gatorade or some other liquid, right? In your life, maybe you can relate. Maybe everything wasn't perfect. Some people think church is boring, or they see some of the same people in the nightclub on Saturday night when they go to church on Sunday. But for whatever reason, this is a place where they feel welcome, where they feel like they have a voice, where they belong, where there are people that at least on that Sunday have the same mindset as they do. So it happens for most of us, if not all, in some capacity, right? And talking about raves and things of that nature, the Manosphere, okay? These hands-off movements and all of these things, even though there are risks with these sub-communities, let's be fair as I try not to get stung by a bee. There are parts of these spaces that can be helpful. Well, I just mentioned that in my own case with the raves that I used to go to, right? But we're talking about the Manosphere today, right? And spaces like that. Messages like, take responsibility. They're going to resonate. Build discipline. It's going to resonate. Improve your life. You're talking to men in the manosphere. It's going to resonate and develop purpose. Well, without identity, it's difficult to develop purpose for a lot of men. So, if this is one of the messages, guess what? It's going to resonate. And those are not harmful ideas in any way, in any shape, in any manner, in any form. In fact, the 4 things I just said can be foundational. Hold on, that was 4, right, guys? Hold on, because I'm killing myself out here walking, taking responsibility, building discipline, improving your life. What else did I say? Developing purpose. Yes, those 4 things, they can be foundational. So listening to it this way, healthy guidance sounds like work on yourself. Guys, be accountable. Guys, develop skills. Guys, and yes, I pumped my fist, if you can see me on YouTube. Develop skills. Guys, all beautiful things and all harmless, by the way. But on speaking Smashinese, we always want to be aware of where messages are coming from. Because hurt people. And this is where things start to shift. And even though I said we're not taking sides today, we have to ask this next question. When does guidance become bitterness? Oh, okay, so he's not really taking a side, eh? But I see where he's going, because this is something to think about. And this usually happens when the message moves from improve yourself, remember I said that, to blame others. Other people are holding you back. These women are holding you back. Or it changes from build value, guys. That's great advice. But coming from the wrong messenger, it sounds more like you're being denied what you deserve, fellas. I'm not exaggerating. Take your butt into the manosphere and tell me I'm exaggerating. I research for every single episode that I post. We go from something helpful and harmless, which you will hear as well in the manosphere. Something like, take responsibility, fellas. That's what you need to do. You'll find love. You'll find great happiness, a nice family, and you will be so fluent in speaking Smashinese that it'll make your head spin. You do hear that, kind of, but a lot of what you hear from a lot of the messengers, instead of it being said that way, you hear the system is against you. Society is set up in a way to hold men down. Wow. Where's all the wealth concentrated? But I'm not gonna. I said I wouldn't take sides, right? So I'm not even gonna do it a little bit. This is where bitterness festers. And bitterness is defined as unresolved frustration that gets directed outward. So, to any men that are listening, are the messages you are hearing helping you grow or just helping you feel justified? And listen, I get a lot of negative feedback because I choose not to show my face in my videos. But remember, I study human behavior, and I'm trying to build a real brand, something that can stand the test of time. I don't care to be the brand, guys. Nike has no human face to like or dislike. It's just a brand. Pepsi has no face to like or dislike. It's just a brand. Cadillac has no face to like or dislike. It's just a brand. Lamborghini, I could go on and on. They're just brands. This is what I'm trying to build. It shouldn't matter what I look like. Judge me by the messages that come out of my mouth and the example I'm trying to set. If I'm able to walk and I stop coming out here and walking with you guys, click away. What is my excuse? Why am I pushing you to do something and telling you it's beneficial, but I won't practice it myself? Okay? I've told you I don't have a six-pack. And if I did, what does that mean? Turn the camera towards myself so that you guys can see a six-pack? That doesn't mean anything. Okay? We're all different. Don't aspire to someone's six-pack. Aspire for the best version of yourself. But let's face it, there are many beautiful, articulate, attractive, charismatic people out there that become influencers and build a following for reasons other than how accurate or helpful, keyword, their content is. And since most humans gravitate toward the messages they want to believe anyway, they are easily influenced by people who may look better than me and have audiences way bigger than I could possibly dream of. These people are called influencers. And few corporations are likely to consider me an influencer because I don't show my ugly face. And I make my content about results and accountability. That's it. I don't come on here and feed you guys a bunch of nonsense. A bunch of motivational. What is motivation? What are these messages? They're great to listen to, but who have they ever helped? If I don't walk and do these bodyweight exercises with you, then why in the world should you guys listen to what I'm saying about this relationship psychology stuff? Because I'm articulate? Well, thank you. I know that. I'm college educated as well. But I'm sorry, not enough. Because of my skin color? I don't care who you are. Listening to me and walking with me. You shouldn't care whether I'm white, black, Latino, Asian, biracial, interracial, underracial, overracial, outro racial. Yes, I'm making those up. I'm sorry. What I look like and what race I am should not be enough to get you guys to support my platform and join my community. Because I welcome everybody. People say it, but I welcome everybody. Some people may say because of your perceived age. It doesn't matter. If I were 25, does that mean a 75-year-old shouldn't be able to come and get something from my content? This is what I have, the problem I have with these demographics and who's your audience, right? It took me so long to do podcasting and YouTube because I wanted to transcend these ideas. As a human behavior scientist, I know better. People want something to belong to that's beneficial to them. They want friends and acquaintances that understand their struggle, right? This is what people want. So why would I create a podcast and say walking and relationship psychology talk for people over 70? Why would I do that? So that the 20-year-old who might really need it, might be out of shape, might benefit from having someone that's subtly kicking knowledge and setting an example? It makes no sense to me. So, I'm likely not to succeed on YouTube because the algorithm is not going to understand that I'm just trying to be me, right? And, well, what are your keywords and tags and long tail keywords? You see, Coach Sumo, it's great. You have a great idea. This is unique what you're doing. No one has ever done what you're doing. And you have the qualifications and the education to do this. Okay? This is what gurus told me because I reached out. I did my homework before starting this, right? But the algorithm doesn't understand that my purpose on YouTube is results and accountability. And how many influencers make that their emphasis? How many? IJS guys, right? None of these things make anything that I say in my podcast true or valuable, right? Don't trust me because of what I look like. Don't trust me because we're both Gen Zers, Gen Xers, Gen Yers, boomers, cavemen, and the angels that left heaven with Lucifer. Like, we can take it as, don't do that. You're bigger than that. You're smarter than that. Okay? I believe people should follow those who lead by example and who are always willing to see both sides of any situation. Okay? It's the same problem I have with politics. All right? If you're not going to shake my hand after you're in office, don't shake my hand to get into office. I don't care that you're well groomed. I don't care that you went to an Ivy League school. I don't care that you have a great smile and a gorgeous hairline, or you're in shape if you're a woman, if you're articulate. Why do any of these things matter? They tell us very little about a person. But what happens? What happens? Not all the time. I said I would try not to overgeneralize, right? But 99% of the time, correct me if I'm wrong, give me some examples, be intelligent about it, please. These people get into office, and there's this little thing called lobbying and lobbyists and power, and everything changes. Okay? Everything changes. But they're still attractive. They're still educated. They were still a doctor or a lawyer or a school teacher in their previous life. Me personally, I don't like it, and I refuse to accept it and fall for it. Okay? I, on this platform, don't want men and women to hate each other. Then you definitely won't be fluent in speaking Smashinese. I built my whole platform on people in relationships understanding each other and becoming closer. I built my platform on proving to you guys that you can get up and walk every single day. And you can aspire to do 1,000 push-ups or 1,000 squats in 2 months or 3 months or a freaking year. If it takes that long, who cares? I don't. But when you share speaking Smashinese with someone else, you see that? See how subliminal that was? Please like, share, subscribe, follow. Tell people to download the podcast and join the community. When you share this platform with someone else, you can proudly say, Coach Sumo does his research. He does not attack women or men. And everything he asks us to do with this exercise crap, because that's the part you shouldn't like, because I don't like it sometimes. He shows us in real time that he is doing it too. So at least for now, guys, I don't meet the requirements to be an influencer, but we need to zoom out and further understand what role influencers play in this manosphere space that we're discussing today. Influencers don't just share ideas. They shape perception. So when someone consistently hears, you're overlooked, man. You're undervalued, man. You're misunderstood, man. That begins to shape how they see themselves, how they see relationships, and yes, how they see the world. And let me throw in that this just in, ladies, this is not just about men. Every EVERY, yes, I know I didn't need to spell that, but I did. Every group has spaces where frustration turns into narrative. Oh, I should have wrote that down. Every group has space where frustration turns into narrative. This is not unique, but it becomes a problem when narrative replaces nuance. Sometimes we can catch ourselves leaning into cult-like behavior if we ask ourselves, when I'm looking for answers about my life, do I seek information or do I seek confirmation? I know they're both TIONs, okay? They're both shunned words, but they're two different things. They're not cousins. They're not related. Because chasing confirmation means you're chasing ideology. And at the end of the day, relationships do not function on ideology. Ideology. I had to echo that, guys. They function on communication, empathy, understanding, and mutual effort. Remember our definition of the word connection. I repeat it in so many episodes, right? Connection means, some of you can probably say it with me right now. Come on, class. Feeling seen, feeling valued, and feeling understood. And no framework, no matter how popular, replaces those things. No influencer should be teaching you to hate the opposite sex. If you're a woman and you are sick and tired of men, I apologize on behalf of us all. You are beautiful and we will miss you, but I understand we did things to push you away. And for myself, personally, I can't speak for all men. I will try to do better. Just make sure that this is your truth. Ladies, do not let some bitter influencer with unresolved relationship or life issues coerce you into thinking like she does, that all men are bad. And the same goes with men. I'm in the psychology and fitness spaces, and I see a lot of broken men just leading other men astray because they have a big platform or because they sound good. Little story time. I had a fighting student once that told me, I'm not stupid enough to get in the cage and fight you, Coach Sumo, because you're a trained fighter, and I've seen what you can do to a lot of people that were much bigger than you and that I thought were much meaner than what you appear to be. But respectfully, I take my fitness advice from people with no more than 6% body fat, and they must be shredded. And listen, guys, this did not hurt my feelings, especially because this person was being honest. But at least he was smart enough to know that even most of those shredded guys who he idolizes would not want to get in a locked cage and fight me. But I did say to him this, because this is something I had to be taught when I ran track and field. Okay? When I was a sprinter and I played football, and a retired semi-pro football player was my coach in both things. And he had to be 460 pounds easily, maybe 5'11". So clearly, to high school kids, he looked out of shape, obese. But he was an ex-lineman, right? Big man, great man, right? I learned a lot from him. But someone had the nerve to open their mouth and ask how he could be a track coach as well. They understood football. Big guys, right? Geesh, I looked 35 in the 9th grade. Okay? My body, anyway. Just muscle everywhere. And this person challenged this coach, which was dumb because the coach was also young. All right? He was only 34 years old. So he said to my teammate, I'll race you 50-yard dash. If you beat me, I will tell the principal that coaching 2 sports is too much for me, and I want to just coach football. And they can find another track coach. Okay? If you beat me. But if I win, you don't leave after practice when everybody else does. Okay? You owe me 5 miles. All right? And on a school track, quarter mile each lap, that's 20 times around the track. You owe me 5 miles. My friend and teammate was like, you want to do that? Don't you need the money? I mean, I'm not trying to be funny, coach, but don't you need the money? And the coach didn't even smile. You want to race me? You want to shake on it? And they raced. And I thought the coach might lose, right? This wasn't one of the fastest people on the team, but he was still on the track team, which means he had some speed, guys. It wasn't even close. And sure, The coach was winded. But he sat us down. He grabbed his water. And this is what he said. And it's what I have been telling my students for years. Teaching mixed martial arts, grappling, jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, right? Combat fighting. Being a fitness coach without a six-pack. He said, you could follow an obese man or woman on a 1,000-mile walk, and at every mile marker, do the exact same amount of weight training or calisthenics that they do. And at the end of that journey, you will be more fit than most people on planet Earth. Okay? Let that sink in. So why did I adopt that? Why do I tell my own students? Why am I telling you guys? I was just trying to tell my student, to teach him that many fitness influencers cheat and use performance-enhancing drugs to achieve their flawless bodies. Yes, I know, not all. And admiring their body will never get him into shape. I'm just being honest. The whole thing came up because he couldn't keep up with me when we were training, during sparring. He couldn't keep up. So this is where the topic of getting in shape came from. He asked, do you know any personal trainers? Wow. Okay. You won't learn from anybody because of what they look like. That's my point. Okay? I'm just being honest. I didn't learn to fight because I admired Bruce Lee or Mike Tyson. I learned to fight because I am a psycho about training myself and seeing results. And I'm not saying all influencers are bad guys or bad girls, right? But I will always say on this podcast, listen to a person's tone. In this psychology space, in this self-help space, in this relationship space particularly, okay? If he or she appears to be bitter or almost angry at the opposite gender, there's something wrong. Full stop. Point blank. Period. If they are entertaining and you just love them, right? You like their style, that's fine. That's none of my business. There is merit in consuming content for its entertainment value. Okay? Support their platforms if you want, but be careful that you do not push yourself further away from the happiness or the answers you're looking for. Now, let me throw this trainer hat on real quick. I was just talking about training people and being a fight coach, okay? If you walk into a gym and someone tells you everyone else is the reason you're not progressing, they shouldn't let girls dress half naked in the gym, and muscular guys, they need to wear a shirt. Someone is trying to make you believe that other people advertising their nice bodies is somehow holding you back, is somehow distracting you. Why does it care that her butt cheeks are hanging out? Yes, you're entitled to an opinion on her attire. But are you really going to let somebody tell you Really? That those butt cheeks are what's keeping you from getting into shape? Because you guys are in the same gym? Listen, if you agree with that person or those types of people, this might make you feel good for a moment because part of you wishes everyone in the gym looked just like you, right? So you could be on an equal playing field. So you wouldn't feel like other people are looking at you, like you stick out, right? But none of this rage blaming will make you any stronger or change your body fat percentage. What makes you stronger is doing the work. Oh yeah, there is no and. Wow, that's it. I just gave you the not so secret. Just do the work, people. Okay? I want this platform to succeed. But guess what? I am not ready, nor would I, to go into a gym and take my shirt off. I'm not even doing it on the beach. And I know people do, even when they're out of shape, right? But I would feel uncomfortable. There you go. I would feel uncomfortable. And look, back to this Manosphere phenomenon, okay? People don't just follow ideas. Most of us follow what makes sense to our experiences in life. So instead of asking, why are men listening to this stuff? Maybe ask, what are they not hearing anywhere else? This is why it is good to vary your information or advice sources and sift carefully. You guys know what that means, right? Sift it. So the good stuff stays and the bad stuff goes away. I don't have all the answers. And I don't believe anyone is an expert in this space. There's just too much to know. But walk with me and do body weight exercises with me for the next 6 months. 6 months, plural. Both of us, all of us, will be different people in a good way, which is an excellent way to close out this episode. Wherever you get your relationship advice, I need you to always ask yourself, is the advice I'm following helping me become better or just helping me feel better? Because at the end of the day, everyone is trying to figure out who they are, where they fit in this world, and how to navigate relationships, all types of relationships. This platform just happens to be more so about intimate relationships, but so much of what we discuss applies across the board. Some people are lucky. They find clarity. Some people find comfort. Some people are not so lucky. They find frustration. Some people, they listen to all this stuff and they just get even more confused. And of course, every single piece of information in the Manosphere is not bad. Quote me as saying that. So the goal is not to avoid information, guys. I hope you didn't get, if you're a man walking with me today, I hope you didn't get that I'm trying to say, stay away from the Manosphere. No. You have to start somewhere. But the goal is to slow down, guys. Listen and try to understand not what you're hearing first, but the agenda of the messengers. And use what actually helps you grow without overgeneralizing, without learning to hate the other gender or despise the other gender or give up on the other gender, and without buying into someone else's bitterness. Whew. There we go. Full transparency. I'm walking slow now. I was not able to keep the brisk pace, but let me check. Whoa, an hour and 6 minutes. So, of course, I wouldn't be able to do that. I don't know how many laps I did, but I want to thank all of you for tuning in. All right, spread the word. Jump in the comment section. Right? I keep saying it. All right. This part of the podcast I started a couple years ago. I wasn't doing it this way, but this part of Speaking Smashinese is now 4 weeks old. Okay. I'm in the 4th week and I'm loving it because I'm in pain and I'm suffering from the walking. Not so much the calisthenics. I'm used to that. But I never walked this much daily in my life, except for the brief time that I was in the military. But I appreciate your support. Keep pursuing the best version of yourself. All right? You can email me. You can contact me if you'd like, if you have any ideas. All right? If you have any stories that you want me to address, I'm open to that. All right? I will walk with all of you guys, right? All of you guys in the next episode. Ciao.